Hey, this is Zach from Keystone Bicycle Co. Here to show you how to fix a flat on the side of the road. So I'm going to show you on my bike here. I'm going to show you on this rear wheel just to show you the more difficult one to do. So I've already turned the bike over. This just makes the bike easier to work on. It makes it easier to take the wheels on and off without knocking the bike over and all that. So first thing I want to do is I want to shift down to my smallest cogs. This can be your highest gear. Just makes it easiest to get the rear wheel off. Then I'm going to open up my my quick release, which is just going to open up the rear wheel. It's just a cam, so you just open it up like a lever. And then I'm going to open up my brakes also. Every brake is a little bit different, but mine has a little bit a button on it that you can press. So I make sure my quick release is open, and then I pull the wheel right out. And then I have a flat tire to work on. The only tool that you really need is this tire lever and a pump. So I'm going to start by using the tire lever to separate this bead on the tire, just to try to get it off the rim so that I can actually replace the inner tube. And I do that by putting the tire lever under the lip of the tire and getting it over the rim. Then I'm going to use that to kind of push and peel the tire off the side of the rim. So I got half that off there. And then you can kind of use your hands to separate it from the rim, and then just get the tire all the way off. So, next thing you want to do is take your tube and the tire still put together and give them a couple pumps. You want to find out where the leak is coming from to see if it's like a puncture or if it's something inside the rim. And you can do that by listening to the tube and then pulling it out and looking at the tube itself. You want to figure out whatever caused that flat in the first place. Otherwise, it's just going to happen again. So you're going to run your fingers through the tire, or you could use like a rag or something if you don't want to get like shards of glass in your finger. And then you're going to place the inner tube. So I'm going to reuse this inner tube. First, give it a couple pumps, just so it keeps its shape. Close the press to valve, which is a little screw top on top. I want to lay it inside the tire and just kind of get it to take a shape. There you go. So yeah, the tube is kind of inside the tire itself. I like to line the logo up with the valve, but sometimes people will line up the tire pressure with the valve. I just think the logo looks nice. So I'm going to take my wheel and I take my tire. Some of them are directional. This one wants to point this way. So I line up the valve and I put the valve in there. Then I'm going to hook one side of the bead on, kind of the opposite of what I was doing before. And I'm just using my fingers to kind of push the bead back into the middle of the rim. Just kind of using my hands as leverage. And then you see this side is still off. I'm just going to make sure that it's all the way in there. And then I start at the valve and I pull the tire onto the rim that way. I'm just kind of like pulling the tire onto the rim. I'm going to let a little air out just to make it a little easier. And then once you get the bead on most of the way around, usually there'll be like a last little tough spot. And you can kind of like use the pads of your palms to kind of roll that onto the rim. I just want to check and make sure that the tube's not pinched anywhere underneath the tire when I installed it. Cool. And then you're ready to start pumping it up. As you're pumping it up, you want to make sure that the tire's not coming off the side of the rim. But looks like we're all good. Then you take your pump off, screw your press to valve in so you don't leak air. And then you just want to make sure that the tire is sitting on the rim properly and it's not like wobbling or unseated at all. And then you're going to take the cassette side out and just place it back in the dropouts. I'm going to open up the chain like this, just so the cassette's sitting in the middle of the chain, and pull the derailleur so it's just easy to slide in. Then you just want to slide the wheel into the rear dropouts, make sure that the wheel is settled in there, tighten up the quick release lever, tighten up the brake, and then after you have the brake installed, you just want to turn the wheel and make sure that it's not rubbing up against the brake or the frame or anything. Once again, this is Zach from Keystone Bicycle Co. in Philadelphia. Thanks for watching, and go ride your bike.